Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Storage Closet session. My name is Kiki, and today is the Nicki video. Yes, we're finally doing it, but before we get started, I feel like I should apologize. This video has always been a planned bait and switch. I've been teasing this video, but it was never really supposed to be about Nicki. This video is using Nicki as a reference for something else, and that is stan culture from the perspective of a former member of one of the most rabid fan bases in internet history, the Barbs. Why do you think I have this poster? I've re-recorded this 3 times, this intro 3 times, and every single time I've pointed in the wrong direction of the poster. But why do you think I have this poster? Because I bought it with my own money, okay? Because I was a Barb. I've had this poster since I was 15 or 16 years old. So let's start out like this. Let's talk about how I became a Barb. Okay, we're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of stan culture, okay? And why I ultimately think it's not good. So let's start out with how I became a Barb. Okay, imagine it's 2009. How old was I in 2009? I had to be like 12. Like 12 years old, I think. Okay, if I'm doing my math correctly. I had to be like 12. Yeah, okay, yeah. I was like 12. Okay. I'm 12 years old. And think about this, okay? Lil Kim is in jail. Remy Ma is in jail. Foxy Brown is in jail. Missy Elliott is ill. And Eve is on Glee? Okay, so all the rap girlies that was popping in the late 90s and the early 2000s, they done went on to greener pastures. Jail is very green, I heard. So, they don't went on to greener pastures. The door is wide open for a brand new female rapper take a charge for the young millennials and the young to mid millennials, okay? And that is when, okay, imagine you're watching the television, you're watching VH1, and you see a video, and it's got Lil Wayne in it. He popping that time. Lil Wayne is already popping, but it's a song, and it's Lil Wayne introducing his new label of cohorts. These are all the people that he's telling the rap community, listen, these is gonna be the next steps right here. It's like 10 fucking people on there, but only two of them aside from Lil Wayne really stand out. Honestly, I even forget that Tyga was on the song. But this was a moment that I felt like was very iconic for some reason.
Let me think, I guess it's my turn. Maybe it's time to put this pussy on your sideburns.
I can't explain why pussy on your sideburns was such an iconic line, but it grabbed my attention, okay? When you could tell who was going to be the stars of Young Money by the reactions that they got whenever Lil Wayne would go on talk shows and stuff. He would bring all of them with him. Like he would bring all 10 plus whatever people that were supposed to be on this new Young Money, and only like two of them really got an applause. Who do you think those two people were? I'm gonna give you a little moment of silence to figure it out.
We all know Nicki Minaj. And last but not least, Drake. Yeah.
It was Drake and Nicki. Okay, people was feeling Drake and Nicki, and I remember seeing a talk show. This is before I really started to really get into Nicki for real. I saw a talk show, and when Nicki came up, the audience was cheering, and I was like, "Who is this Nicki girl?" So between Bedrock, which was kind of like her introduction to the mainstream, and her actual release of Pink Friday, there was some projects she had already released. She already had 3 mixtapes out while she was promoting Pink Friday. And so I went and sought them out. I downloaded them all onto my family's computer. I sat there until like 2 o'clock in the morning on the family computer, just listening to all of Nicki's mixtapes. And I was floored. I was floored. I was like, girl is next up. I can't wait till Pink Friday come out. Okay, Pink Friday drops, and I mean, this had to be like 2010, I believe, when it officially dropped. When Pink Friday officially dropped, it was 2010. She already had a few singles before it officially came out. She had Your Love, which I absolutely loved, Check It Out, which was iconic, and Right Through Me, which was more like, I wasn't a fan of that one. But after Right Through Me, she drops the album. And then right after that, she drops Moment for Life. And I felt like, them Young Money collaborations always kind of be iconic. They just do. It had Drake on it. I wish that I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment. Yeah. It was Nicki and Drake. And that song was popping. It was, at this very moment I'm king. At this very moment I've slayed Goliath with a sling. I mean, you just listen to that and you feel like you can overcome anything. Okay, she was popping, girl. The girl was popping. Now at that time, because I was 12, I wasn't really getting enough an allowance to go and buy Pink Friday. But when I got a little bit older and I started getting more allowance, that is when I was able to buy these. And these are still in their original packaging from when I bought them, from when they came out. Okay, I went and bought these. One of these has a DVD in it. Okay, I think it's this one has a DVD in it. The Re-Up DVD. Okay, I don't even know if it's still in here. Well, no, it should be. It should be. It is cool. I would watch that on my PlayStation like every night when it came out. When I got my hands on that DVD, I watched that shit on my PlayStation every freaking night. Okay, so the good part of stan culture is that it helps you find community. And at the time, I was a rabid Twitter user. Okay, I was very engaged with Barb's. I was very engaged with other communities of stan cultures, and I felt like I made a lot of friends on the internet. I made a lot of friends on the internet. Should I have been making friends on the internet at 14 years old? I don't know. I didn't die. I wasn't kidnapped. I wasn't molested. I wasn't, murdered or nothing. I didn't send nobody no naked pictures. So, be cautious of what your kid's doing. I was a little bit more responsible and knew better, I feel like. But, I was talking to peoples that was my age. And you know how I know? Because we was chatting. We had little tiny chat rooms where we would go in. We would just listen to Nicki's music and talk to each other. We was all between like 15 and 19 years old, I would say. And we would just sit there and listen to Nicki's music and talk about Nicki and just have a great time. Okay. Now, that's number one, providing community. Because you have to think about the type of people that would rally around artists like Nicki. And that's going to be people that feel like they can't really relate to the majority of hip hop that's out. Gays and women, okay? Gays, they not relating to she sucked my dick. I made her suck it and you kissed it. They not relating to that because they don't do that. Women aren't relating to that either because they're like, listen, I'm not doing that. Why you acting like toothpaste don't exist? Or why you acting like I sleep with one man and then that lasts forever with the next one? Like, y'all be tripping too much. So they had Nicki. I'm taking control. Okay. I do this and that and I make him do this and that. Okay. The gays listening to that, yes. Okay. They was relating. So it was providing community for an audience, an uncatered to audience of hip hop. Okay? Boom. That's dope. That's a good. That's the good right there. Okay? Another thing about stan culture that's good is that it helps you build the foundation for your music taste. Because a lot of people that get into stan culture, they get in at a younger age, typically in their adolescence, and probably at the latest, like college. So most people that engage in stan culture are younger. They're probably under like 25 years old. So when you're growing up, you're developing your own music taste. You're not just listening to what your parents and your siblings listen to, and you're getting into your own stuff. Then that's a great foundation, you know. For let's give some examples. If you like Kanye, if you grew up listening to Kanye, you've probably liked Travis or Chance or Childish Gambino. If you grew up listening to Future, you've probably liked Thug or Migos or Cardi. And if you've grown up listening to Nicki, you've probably liked other Cardi, not Carti, okay, Cardi or Doja or Dochi. Okay, that's just how it is. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Some of them artists I don't like, some of them I do. But you know, you might have liked one of them, you might have liked all of them. You might have liked none of them because you felt like they were too cloney. I don't know. That's up to you. Now, we will be getting into the bad of stan culture. And we're going to talk about them by referring to specific events that happened within the Barb fandom, okay? Event number 1.
Fuck Nicki Minaj.
Sheether.
Fuck with your soul like Sheether. You ain't the queen, I'll show you. Like roll your ass and belly. I prove you lost already.
Now, this was about I around 2016, I kind of had one foot out of stan culture because, you know, I joined the military. I actually had like a life outside the internet. I was busy. I was doing stuff where I didn't have time to just be looking at, you know, stupid stuff all the time and arguing with people about stupid stuff all the time. So I kind of had one foot out of stan culture by then, but I was still a fan. I didn't like hate Nicki or nothing like that. I wasn't against Nicki. I wasn't anti Nicki, nothing like that. And I also still wasn't really listening to any other female artists. But when Sheether dropped, and this is problem with stan culture number 1, you cannot be unbiased. You cannot be unbiased. You cannot listen to Sheether and say, this was a really good diss track. I mean, that was character assassination like I have not seen before that point, okay? That was some character assassination. And if you were a Barb at that time, I remember I would still temporarily go on Twitter. I wasn't really on it that heavily anymore because I used to be on it daily, multiple times a day. This time I'm probably checking in like once every 2 weeks, once a month. But I remember logging into Twitter and seeing y'all want to see a dead body and then a link to that song. And I was lucky enough to not be in stan culture enough to be like, wow, her flow was off. She's just sitting here lying. Nicki is definitely gonna clap back with something way better than this. Wow, 7 minutes just to say nothing. You know, I was doing all that. I heard that song, I was like, ugh, yuck, ugh, ooh, ugh, ah. You know, I did not say it, but I was looking at the Barbs, what they were saying, because I still followed a lot of Barbs on Twitter at the time. And I'm looking at what they're saying, and they're upset, okay? They're upset. They don't like the song. They can't say it was a good diss track. It was a good diss track. Especially considering what Nicki followed with a few months later. Not only was No Frauds bad, but she had Nicki and Wayne on the song. I'm assuming that she did that so that it would just be more popular, so people would think it was better. You know, she was going the back-to-back route. And also, I'm not sure if she like sucked off Nas so that he wouldn't approve Sheether for streaming. I feel like that's what happened because they were dating around that time. She was dating Nas around that time. I feel like she sucked off Nas so that he wouldn't approve Sheether. That's just me. That's just a rumor. Okay. Don't sue me. I'm not saying that as fact. I'm just saying I think that's what happened. It felt like that's what happened. But then now Sheether not only is not on streaming, but then she released a song with Wayne and Drake, and it's not that good. She has one line in there that's like, okay, that's fair. But besides that, it was like, girl, this song is ass. This song, and then I genuinely, in my opinion, I think that Sheether shattered her spirit because she disappeared. The bitch disappeared. She disappeared. She stopped. She was gone. And she left the door wide open for
God. Hey.
Miss Belle Khalees Almanzar to come in and set up her own furniture. She removed all Nicki's furniture. Okay, maybe she kept a couple of posters on the wall. Maybe she kept the couch, but she got a brand new TV. She got a brand new dining set. I mean, she just revamped the whole house. Okay, Nicki left her keys just in the door, and Cardi came in and squatted. She squatted the motherfucking house. And here is problem number 2. You cannot like another artist that is in competition with your artist unless it's on that artist's terms. Okay? Because Cardi did not come in saying, man, Nicki is the biggest inspiration for me. I love her music. I'll kiss both her toes. I'll kiss both her big toes and all 8 of her little toes. I will kiss both of her booty cheeks one at a time. I'll plant 5 kisses on each booty cheek. That's 10 kisses on the booty cheeks, okay? I love Nicki. Bow down to the queen. I want to be her. I've always wanted to be her. I'm a clone. Because she didn't come in saying all that shit, you were not allowed to like Cardi if you were a Barb. But because Nicki left the door wide open and she wasn't feeding the Barbs really for real, some of them, not only was it that, she kind of disappeared, but it was also that some of the Barbs was getting older. And they was probably having one foot outside of stan culture too. They started expanding their music taste. Oh, I like this little Bodak Yellow song. Okay. Oh, I like this little I Like It Like That song. Okay. Oh, I like this. I like these little these little Cardi songs. Okay, I'll go ahead and listen to these little Cardi songs. And then when her and Nicki started beefing over Motorsport, which honestly, I always feel like when it comes to Nicki, the beefs that she has with people are always deeper than she lets people know what they are. It's always something else. She uses something that makes kind of sense as the cover for what the actual problem is in her heart of hearts. She claimed that the reason why she didn't like Cardi was because she said she had a line on Motorsport where she said, if Cardi the QB, I'm Nick Lombardi, and Cardi didn't like that line. And she was like, bitch, you're not my fucking coach. I don't want you to put that line on there. Don't put my name on there. So then she changed the line. So it was, if Quavo the QB, Nick Lombardi, which don't really make any sense now. I feel like she should have just changed the line altogether instead of having that like QB coach thing. But Cardi was not a fan of that. And honestly, I kind of understand. I understand. You already trying to sun me, and now you coming on a song that I'm also on, and you over here talking about you my coach, and you tell me what. Hell nah. I understand feeling the disrespect. I understand it. I understand being like, I don't like that line. Can you change it? We on the same song. I thought it's gonna look funny. And the Barbs that was still there started harassing Cardi B. Cardi B's sister was fighting the Barbs, and then Cardi was fighting Nicki, and she had a big old knot on her head because she got beat up by some I forgot the girl's name. Nicki talked about it on Queen Radio. She said she got bopped in the head by some girl that was with Nicki. Now, number 3 of the bad of stan culture is that you are not allowed to admit to your artist's wrongdoings. Nicki has this prolific predator problem in her circle. You know, first was her brother, who she, you know, paid his defense. And, you know, she even said in the song that she still loved him. Her brother is a convicted CSAer. Convicted CSAer. Okay. Then there was her husband, who was a convicted R-wordist and also murderer. And she married that man. And, you know, there were some Barbs that were like, okay, Nicki, you done took it too far. I can't support you no more. And there were some that was like, she can love who she wants to love. And you know what? That's true. But I can also support who I want to support and not support who I don't want to support. Because that's like a lot, you know. That's too many different. That's two people is a pattern, okay? Once is a coincidence, twice is a pattern. Okay. So she got the little predator problem. She loves supporting predators, I guess. That is her thing. So that was number 3. Now, this is the ugly of stan culture, and that is the ability to be weaponized. Now, I have never seen somebody take such little accountability for their fan base like Nicki. I have never seen nothing like it. There was a Queen radio that she did, and if I find it, I'm gonna put the clip in here.
You can't control your sister, but you want me to control millions of fans?
But there was a Queen radio she did around the time that the Cardi B incident happened, and she said something like, how so your sister is going off on all my fans or whatever, but you expect me to control tens of thousands of people? But she said, like, you expect me to control 10,000 people, but you can't even control one person. Okay, I don't feel. See, this is what I be talking about when I say that Nicki be hella disingenuous and like kind of gaslighty. Is okay, you could literally just say, don't harass those people. Don't harass those people. Leave those people alone. Don't go bothering them. I know how to handle my own stuff. I know that y'all are very defensive of me, but I don't want y'all going and harassing people like that. Don't do that, Barbs, okay? If you are a true fan of mine, then you would not go harassing these people, okay? She already got bopped on the head. It's okay. Y'all don't have to go harassing her. Right? That's fine, right? You can just do that. But you wanted them to go harass Cardi and her sister. You wanted that to happen. That's why you didn't say that. You wanted the Barbs to harass Joe Budden. You wanted the Barbs to harass Meg. When Meg released Hiss and her fans were saying, the Barbs were saying that they were going to find Megan's mom's grave and vandalize it, you couldn't call off the Barbs then. At no point could you say, like, okay, this, I know how to handle the beef, okay? I know what I'm doing. I don't need y'all to do nothing like that, okay? I'm gonna dismantle this girl on my own. I don't need the Barbs to be bringing it to the real world. We gonna keep it right here. You were okay with your fans vandalizing the grave of a woman that had nothing to do with anything just because her daughter was beefing with you. And I feel like that's the ugliest part, because here's the thing about Barbs. Barbs now are probably between 25 and 35. I would roughly 25 to 35, I would guess. Maybe 25 to 32. They are younger to like maybe older Gen Zs to like middle millennial. You are way too fucking grown to be on the internet doing shit like that. You are way too fucking grown to be doxing people on the internet, looking for people's fucking information, looking for grave sites. Are you serious? You're fucking 30 years old. And you talking about vandalizing graves. I don't know if y'all saw when I think it was a Barb got into some beef with a Dua Lipa fan. The Dua Lipa fan was like 17 and the Barb was like 23. And the Barb flew to this boy's house to fight him in person. And he got tased and arrested. That's what Barbs do. That's the type of people that Barbs are now. Because when you're young, you don't have that kind of power to just be doing stupid shit like that. They're grown now, and that is what makes them even more terrifying. Is because they're grown people that can get plane tickets and rental cars and limestone and shovels and tarp and go wherever they want to go. And they sit on the internet all day, tweeting about Nicki, talking about Nicki, harassing people that have never bowed down to Nicki. Why do you think that the narrative around Doechii, besides men who got mad that they're straight or something like that, started to sour? Because Barbs were upset. I mean, I do definitely feel like Barbs are involved in this narrative changing around Doechii. Okay? Because Barbs were upset that Doechii unfollowed Nicki on Twitter. That's what happened. Doechii unfollowed Nicki on Twitter. Then there was Ice Spice, or this was before Doechii, but there was also Ice Spice, who, because she was willing to bow in front of Nicki, and she literally said, when I met Nicki for the first time, I cried because I never imagined that this could have happened. She cried when she met Nicki, and Nicki took a picture with Ice Spice and said, "This is the princess of rap." We could have seen 2,786 miles away that Ice Spice's 15 minutes of fame was going to be 5. But because she was willing to bow down to Nicki to her face, she got a feature and she got she got a feature and she got a tag. She got a tag of royalty. She is now the princess of rap. And then as soon as Baby Storm leaked those text messages about Nicki saying, or the ones that Ice Spice said about Nicki, where she said, I feel like she's trying to scam me. I feel like she's trying to put me in a bad contract. I feel like she wants to put me in a bad contract because she was in a bad contract and she feels like that's the only way to do it. And then those text messages leaked with Ice Spice reasonably being upset with Nicki. The Barbs turned on her. And that's how those 15 minutes of fame became 5. Because the Barbs know how to speed up time. So, I'm just saying, I don't think that any 30-year-old should allow themselves to be weaponized by someone that they've never even met. Someone that has never liked a tweet, retweeted a tweet even, spoken to you, looked at you, will never even spit on you if you was on fire. But you are 30 years old on the internet acting like you are defending a fucking free country. What is wrong with you people? So, but I want to leave this on a positive note, okay? I want to leave this on a positive note. I know that a lot of people that are fans of Nicki feel like they're never gonna get anything as good as or better than Nicki. And the unfortunate truth is there's a lot. There's a lot out there that's as good as or better than Nicki. Because to be honest, and this is probably really going to get me in trouble saying this, Nicki's albums are not good. Nicki has never released anything on an album that was better than her mixtapes. There are a lot of girlies out there that's making great stuff. I'll even slip in somebody else, okay? Somebody who should have come up at the same time as Nicki, but sort of was their own worst enemy in a sense. And that is Azealia Banks. I hate to say this, but I actually think in hindsight that Azealia Banks was more talented than Nicki. But the problem was, not only was she dark-skinned, but she did not know how to close her mouth. The thing about Nicki is that she knew how to close her mouth for long enough and let just enough slip so that it didn't look like she was crazy yet. But Azealia Banks got crazy too quick. And then she became the angry black woman too quick. But I honestly think that Azealia Banks was better than Nicki at the time. I'm sorry, she was. She was. I think Azealia Banks was better than Nicki Minaj at the time. I'm sorry, I really do. Like, in hindsight, I do. I actually have, I think, a burned CD in this box that has a Fantasy on it, which was Azealia Banks' mixtape at the time. I had that on a burn CD because, you know, you burned CDs back then. You didn't just have music on your phone. So I had a burn CD with her mixtape on it because I liked her and I thought she was up next too. But then she just went off too quick. So what I'm saying is that even back then, there was at least one artist that was better than Nicki. And then there are so many girlies out now. You know, you got Megan. You know, if you want that southern type shit, you got Glorilla. If you want that solo type shit, you got Doja. If you like pop music, you got Lotto. If you like, you know, I don't even know what Lotto be doing. But hey, you got Lotto, you got Doechii, you got even the undergroundy girlies, you got No Name, you know, you got Rhapsody, you got Shay Noir, you know, you got you got a girly for everything now. You got a girly for everything now. You want some conscious, you want some turn up shit, you want some poppy shit. You got a girly for fucking everything. Little Sims, Tierra Whack. I mean, I could go on and on. You got a girly for everything. Cause Nicki, I don't think she's ever been everything. In hindsight, okay? At the time, I thought she was everything. Sit down, little girl. This little girl. This girl won't sit down. But now you got a girly for everything. And I feel like, you know, these people that are like, I'm not going to like an artist unless it's on Nicki's terms. What? You got JT from City Girls. Because that's one of the only people that Nicki directly said that you're allowed to like if you it was some other people too that I totally forgot who they were because they're like, who the fuck are they? But according to Nicki, you're only allowed to like 3 other girls. And that's why I'm saying that outside of stan culture, there is so much freedom. Okay? I listen to whatever I want now. You know, I mean, you know, there are some people that I just don't want to listen to, whether they're popular or not. But for the most part, I listen to whatever the fuck I want. And it's amazing. Do you know how many girlies is out here doing it? So many. And I feel like y'all not giving him a chance because Nicki just dropping mid projects, but you know, there's like a piece of your childhood that you feel like you'll let slip away if you like somebody else. You know, I think that's very fair. I think it's fair, but we all got to grow up at some point, you know? We all gotta. Did she just blink? Oh my god, no, I'm sorry. I thought she blinked for a second. Oh my god, that was scary. Girl, you okay? Okay. But as somebody who was a queer theater kid that really, really related to Nicki, I get it. I get it. I really do. But I think that it's so much out there to relate to that you don't have to hold on to that one little piece of your childhood anymore. I'm setting you free. Okay? I'm setting you free. You're allowed to listen to other stuff. Nicki is still there. Just because you listen to somebody else, it don't mean that Nicki is gonna go away. I promise. She always gonna be there for you. Her music is, at least. I don't know about her mentally, because now she on the internet shitting on Rock Nation and taking cocaine, going on her little cocaine rants. But Nicki music is always gonna be there for you. Okay? And it's always gonna be waiting for you. But there's also a whole world of amazing music that you've probably been missing out on that's also waiting for you. And so I say, Barbs, it's time for you to set yourselves free. And it's time for this poster to come down. Ouch! It's hot. All right, guys. Wow, the wall is so bare. She will be missed. But don't forget, she's always in this box. She'll always be in this box, and she'll always be waiting to go back on the wall. And so with that being said, thank y'all so much for watching probably the longest video I've made so far. If you guys have any recommendations for new posters that I should put up on the wall, or a new poster of a person, drop your recommendations for a new poster in the comments. I'll be excitedly looking through those. I hopefully will be able to replace the poster by next month. So you guys got a month to put in your recommendations for who we should put up there next. And you know what? Because we love all types of artists around here, maybe we'll switch out the posters like weekly or something like that. Or every video will have a new poster up there. We'll see. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. You're beautiful, and Barb's forever.
I was really getting $50,000. 50, no album out. 50 came for a purse, no album out. Climb it. Tony Mataran, dirty whining. Nicki, you on the titties when I signed it. That's why these niggas say one track minded. But I'll say, Bride Chucky is child's play. Just killed another career, it's tomorrow day. Besides day, they can't, besides me. I think me, you and Shamanage, pink with thick ass. Give them, I think big, get cash. Now, look at what you just, this is what you, I'm a motherfucking monster.